Hi, my name is Kristen and this is Kristen Craves Books. So I've moved away from doing monthly TBRs. I've just embraced the fact that I'm a mood reader, so I can't predict what I'm going to be in the mood for every month. So there's no point in me doing monthly TBRs anymore, but I do like seasonal ones, especially in the summertime. I love the idea of romanticizing my summer. I know that doesn't always go to plan, but just the idea of it is nice and gets me excited to read outside. I do a lot more reading in the summertime because I do spend a lot of time at the beach. So I thought I would just go through some of the physical books that I own that I want to get to. I think I only have one book out from KU that is on my radar at the moment, but obviously this is not everything because you get recommendations all the time. Who knows what Libro FM's ALCs will be, what NetGalley things I'll be approved for, just things that get hyped or things that I end up wanting to read. So I can't predict it all, but for now, one book on KU. Quite a few e-arcs from NetGalley. A lot of them come out in August, September. I think maybe one in October, but I would like to get those all read in the summertime. And then some new releases that aren't out yet that I will make a priority, and a couple of book club books. I don't have the book club book for August on this TBR yet because I'm not quite sure what it is yet. Becky hasn't announced everything, so I don't know which of the books we picked is going to be for August, so we will wait for that. But that's everything, so let's dive into this. I figured I'd start with the book that I'm currently reading, and this is going to take me a minute to get through. I'm like 15 pages in. I just started this morning. So this is The Raven Scholar by Antonia Hodgson, and this is everywhere at the moment. It is quite big. It looks smaller in the camera than it actually is. It's over 600 pages. It's heavy. It weighs like 1,000 pounds. The people who are obsessing about this are people who I tend to have similar reading taste to. Esme in particular, some friends on Discord, everybody's gushing about it. And I told myself at the beginning of the year I wasn't gonna let size of books intimidate me, so this is a good place to really get on with that goal. I also have the audiobook from Libro, so I can immersion read this, which makes it less intimidating. I just think that this is gonna have great atmosphere. Actually, I think this is set in midsummer when I was reading the flap. Yeah, it says, in this dizzying heat of midsummer, so perfect time to read it, 7 exceptional warriors, thinkers, and strategists compete to replace somebody on the throne. When one of them is murdered, it falls to Nima, the emperor's brilliant, idiosyncratic high scholar, to find the killer and fight for the throne. Nima believes she is alone, but we are here to help. All she has to do is let us in. If she succeeds, we will win an empire. If she fails, death awaits her, but we won't let that happen. We are the Raven, and we are magnificent. So I think there might be a collective we in this, which is something that I like. I like that the Raven seems to have a perspective. Tasha Suri blurbed this, which is always a bonus for me. She's one of my favorites. So I am trusting everybody's reviews of this one, and that'll be one that'll take some time, but hopefully I'll have thoughts on this one for you soon. The next one is one I've had for a minute now, and it's New Suns 2. It's actually a collection of short stories, and I know that Angela from Literature Science Alliance absolutely loved this, and that is why I grabbed it myself. And there are some really interesting authors in here. Walter Mosley does the foreword, and that's an author I've been wanting to read from for ages now. I've heard incredible things. Darcy Little Badger has a story in here. Nevo, who you know I love. So I'm thinking maybe one story a night until I get through this. It's not very long, but I just think that I want to be somebody who reads short stories. I always put short story collections on my TBR or on my most anticipated releases videos because they always sound so good and then I just never get to them. I think Tananarive Due has a story in here as well. And I do believe that this is science fiction, which makes sense with the title and the cover. But it says that there are actually 18 sci-fi stories in here. It says sci-fi, fantasy, and horror stories revealing daring futures, hidden pasts, and present-day worlds filled with unmapped wonders. So excited to dive into this. Maybe find a few new authors who I want to try full-length novels from as well, which is the whole point of something like this. When I think of summer, I do think of baseball, so I had to put a baseball romance on my list. I have tried to be a sports romance girly. It's just not always hitting for me. There are some exceptions. I think the only one I have really loved is from Kennedy Ryan, and I think that's a Kennedy Ryan thing, not a sports romance thing. But I like the idea of a baseball romance. I am from like a baseball family. My dad's like huge into baseball. Father's Day is coming up. Everything that I bought him is baseball related. I saw this cover. I thought it was cute, so I figured this might be a good one to try. And Alicia Thompson wrote, what is that called? Love in the Time of Serial Killers, I believe. And though everybody didn't love that one, I really did, and I've been wanting to read more from her. And it says a professional baseball player and his heckler prove that true love is worth going to bat for. So I think they start off on a wrong foot there. And of course you got some puns in the description, which I love, and it just looks sweet. So I think I could get through this in a day on the beach or something and have a good time with it. Just screams summer to me. Dreadful by Caitlin Rezekias was one of my best books of last year, and she just had a new book that came out, and my brother and his girlfriend gave me a Chapters gift card for my birthday because obviously that is the best gift you could give me, and I ran out and I grabbed this, and it is the Grimoire Grammar School Parent Teacher Association, which is quite the title. I don't know that this one is getting as much buzz as Dreadful did, but I've seen a couple people read it and really love it, and I just like the idea of this one. We're following a family, and Aria is a kindergartner, and she is bitten, and I think she's turning into a werewolf, and the family is swept up to this arcane school where there are vampires, there are politics, she has to deal with the PTA, but all of these supernatural creatures as well. So I just think the humor might hit for me, and it doesn't hurt that the sprayed edges are gorgeous. I love sprayed edges on a paperback for some reason, and yeah, I just think this is going to be quirky. I'm in the mood for quirky in the summertime. Sounds amazing. Again, this is on the shorter side, so good one after finishing the Raven Scholar there, and it just sounds cute. It just sounds like something that is going to work for me, and I'm excited to try more from this author. And then the last physical book that I have for my TBR at the moment is the other book I bought with my gift card, and the reason I went to the store in the first place is When the Tides Held the Moon. This is by Vanessa Vida Kelly, and again I have the audiobook of this from Libro FM, but the physical edition is just so beautiful, and heard great things. I think I'm gonna love this, and I just couldn't resist. Some of the writing in here is blue. Can you see that? There are illustrations throughout, so I just look at how cool is that. I am a sucker for little details like that, and I'll go to an earlier illustration because I don't want to spoil anything, but look at how cool. Yeah, that got me. I just heard great things about it. This is just like a well-made book, and it just sounds so good. This is a mailman romance, and it's set in Coney Island. True love rises to the surface. With lush illustrations and buoyant prose, Vanessa Vida Kelly forges an unforgettable New York fairy tale. So it's actually set in 1910s New York, which you do get that historical fiction vibe. Look at these end pages even. Everything but this is so beautiful. So anyways, it's a romance between a man and a merman. So what else do you need to know? This cover is gorgeous. Everything about this. I'm so excited. So again, merman just seems like a perfect summer read to me. Now I'm just gonna look through my Kindle and tell you the one KU book that I have out that I'm really excited for, and then some of the books from that galley. So the KU book that you can grab right now is All Superheroes Need PR by Elizabeth Stevens. I've been seeing this on Threads actually. I haven't been on Threads much, but lately I have been opening it up, and there's some great recommendations coming from Threads. I don't think I realized how big the book community is on there already, so that is exciting, and that's how I found this one. And the tagline says, love can turn a villain into a superhero, so I don't know if this is enemies to lovers or what. But what was that superhero book that I read? I will put it up here. I forget, the title's not coming to me, but it's a book that I thought I would love and I didn't, and ever since then I've been craving a really good superhero book, and I have a feeling this could be it because it's getting rave reviews and it just sounds like something I would like. And it says he's a villain looking for a hero rebrand, and she's a marketing genius who can help make it happen. So obviously it's a romance, and he's a villain, and she's helping with his PR to make him into a hero. I think that sounds really, really fun and cute. And then from NetGalley, I have Hopelessly T-Voted, which I love that title, and that's probably what caught my eye in this cover. And it's by Audrey Goldberg-Rua. This just looks like a cute rom-com, and obviously there's a witch involved. And it says, after the death of his parents, a witch returns to his spooky family manor and joins forces with his former crush when his parents' spirits warn them of a sinister threat. It says it's witty and lyrically unique. So, sounds fun, sounds cute. An easy one to read on my Kindle, and again, it was the cover that really got me. It looks like I have a wider range of supernatural characters in the books that I'm reading in the summertime, which I'm all for. Werewolves, merman, vampires now, witches, everything. But this one's a vampire book, and it says The Good Vampire's Guide to Blood and Boyfriends by Jamie DiMatteo, and this says it's Heartstoppers meets Buffy, in this queer paranormal rom-com where a college sophomore must survive becoming a vampire and the cute boy who discovers his secret. And this is getting great reviews already. It comes out August 26th. Another one that I think will just be great to read on my Kindle pretty quickly. Yeah, when I'm looking at these reviews on Goodreads, 5 stars, 5 stars, 5 stars, that just gets me even more hyped about it. I was lucky enough to get an e-arc of Wild Reverence by Rebecca Ross, and I'm ashamed to admit that I've never read anything by Rebecca Ross, even though I own a couple of her books. This one will be the first because I do have the ER, and there are around 400 ratings on this book already, and it has a 4.62. That is so high. It's almost 600 pages, but I do read quicker in my Kindle, so we'll see about that. It says, born in the firelit domain of the Underrealm, Matilda's the youngest goddess of her clan, blessed with the humble messenger magic. But in a land where gods often kill each other to steal power and alliances break as quickly as they are forged, Matilda must come of age sooner than most. She may be known to carry words and letters through the realms, but she holds a secret she must hide from even her dearest of allies to ensure her survival. So I'll just leave it there. Obviously, she has a thing for letters, Rebecca Ross, which I kind of love about her. And yeah, I just can't believe how good the reviews are of this one, and I can't wait to dive into it. This next book doesn't come out till September 30th, but I feel like I was approved for it a while ago, and it's just kind of taunting me on my Kindle at this point, and it's called Witch of the Wolves by Kaylee Archer. And this is when a powerful witch discovers she's the daughter of an alpha werewolf and is taken back to his pack. She's determined to break free, all the while denying her attraction to her abductor. So werewolves aren't always my favorite. Like fated mate stuff, I struggle with sometimes. The captor-captee thing is also difficult for me, so I'm curious to see how this is handled, but it's definitely one I want to try given that she is a witch, so that is always going to appeal to me. So we'll see about that one. Definitely one I'm going to give a shot because it has been calling to me from my Kindle for a while now. I also have Ladies in Hating by Alexandra Vasti. Now this is the third book in a series, and I haven't read the first two, though I have heard good things about them. The first one's like Never Duke Well, the second one's Earl Crush, and then this one, but I don't think you have to read them in order. You know how romance series go. And this one, the tagline says, the Fomance of a Lifetime. So the reason that I think I will love this one is it's fake dating, and I haven't actually read fake dating in a minute, and it continues to be one of my favorite tropes. I know that it had a moment for a long time and we've kind of moved away from it, but it still hits for me. I still love it. It says a pair of gothic novelists trade rivalry for love in the swoony, steamy sapphic Regency. And I want to read more Regency romance, so one I want to get to, and it comes out September 23rd. I then have 3 ALCs. I think 2 of them are already out and 1 isn't yet, but all priority for me. The first one is Blood on Her Tongue by Joanna Van Veen, and you can probably tell from the cover that this is horror. It says, I'm in your blood and you are in mine. Love that. Set in the Netherlands in 1887, Lucy's twin sister Sarah is unwell. She refuses to eat, mumbles nonsensically, and is increasingly obsessed with a centuries-old corpse recently discovered in her husband's grand estate. The doctor has diagnosed her with temporary insanity caused by a fever of the brain. To protect her twin from a terrible fate in a lunatic asylum, Lucy must unravel the mystery surrounding her sister's condition, but it is clear her twin is hiding something. Then again, Lucy's harboring secrets of her own too. Dun dun dun. So I'm thinking vampires here. And yeah, that came out in March. Has great reviews. Friends who have read it seem to have loved it. It'll be good to have some horror to break up all the fantasy and contemporary romance that is on this TBR. I also have an ALC of The Night and the Moth, which has been out for a minute now, and I'm seeing it everywhere. There's so many vlogs of it. Seems to be getting mixed reviews, but some people really love it, and I haven't read One Dark Window, though I have the Fairy Loot edition of it, and I know I'm gonna love it. This one came out May 20th. It has a 4.48 on Goodreads and 22,000 ratings, so maybe the reviews aren't as mixed as I get the impression of on BookTube, because that's such a small sample size, but 4.48 is wild, and that is really exciting. It's a gothic mist-cloaked tale of a prophetess who is forced beyond the safety of her cloister on an impossible quest to defeat the gods with the one knight whose future is beyond her sight. I know that she can see the future, and he kind of makes fun of that, and they don't start off on a good foot. And I remember reading the synopsis for a most anticipated releases video and being really into it. And so I think this is where I'm gonna start with Rachel Gillig. And I can't wait to see if I love it as much as this 4.48 rating on Goodreads. I said this in my last video, but H.G. Perry is an author who I've been wanting to read from for ages. I think all of their books sound like Kristen books, and I was just approved for the ALC of their newest book on NetGalley, and I was so excited. So this is a far better thing, and I just talked about this book. But it's got fae, and fae are hit and miss for me, but I think this kind's gonna work. It's a standalone portal fantasy where Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell meet a tale of two cities in a heart-rending fantasy of fairy revenge set during the French Revolution. I fear this was the best of times. I hoped it could not get any worse. So 416 pages, comes out June 17th, so one I should probably listen to while I'm reading The Raven Scholar, maybe, because I can't just focus on one book these days. I like to mix it up. This might be a fun one to listen in between that and get to it before the release day. So it looks really fun. I was really excited when I got approved for that one and to finally have an excuse to read from this author. And hopefully this inspires me to read more of their backlist because they have some really interesting stuff on there. Now just a few releases I'm going to quickly mention that come out in the summertime that of course I have my eye on. Blood in the Water by Tiffany D. Jackson. You can't see it, can you? I have a whole section of just Tiffany D. Jackson books because she's one of my favorite authors. It's been a minute. She had some life stuff going on, so it's been a minute since she's put something out, and I'm so excited about it. It's a middle grade, and there are a few authors who I'll read anything from, and Tiffany D. Jackson is one of them, and I still think it's gonna hit, even though I'm not the target demographic. I just saw somebody, I can't remember who had this in a vlog, and they absolutely loved it because she's masterful. I think that it's gonna be a unique twist even though it's for a younger audience. I love the way that she builds characters, and I think that she's gonna write a book that is definitely intended for a middle grade audience and is one that is probably gonna be important for that age demographic, but adults can also love. I just know that that is something that she will accomplish. This is on the horror side, which is kind of fun for a middle grade, and we're following somebody who has to go to, I think it's Martha's Vineyard for the summertime, and people are dying and nobody seems to care, and our main character is trying to figure out what has happened. But I heard the twist is actually really surprising, so I can't wait for that. I'm so excited to just be back with Tiffany D. Jackson's writing, and I know that we're getting The Scammer from her later this year as well, so I'm so excited. I'm just so excited that she's publishing again. I missed her. And then of course Ascension by S.T. Gibson is coming out in the summertime. Evocation is one of my favorite books ever, one of my favorite books of last year. I know that doesn't hit for everybody, but I absolutely love it. I'm excited to be back with those characters. It's set in New York. It's following 3 main characters, and they have a very complicated relationship. There's light fantasy because they kind of do like seances and can talk to the dead kind of stuff, but it's more about their relationships and how complicated those are, and I can't wait to see where it goes and how that develops in the sequel. I can't even imagine. I'm just so excited. I have to talk about T. Kingfisher. It seems like T. Kingfisher is always putting out a book in August now. It's a great way to end my summer, and her release for this year is called Hemlock and Silver. But she's got a ton of books coming out this year. She's really blessing us, but later on. And let me see, I don't even know what this is about, to be honest with you. I just look and see, oh, T. Kingfisher has a book. Yep, putting that on my TBR. Gonna love it. It's a dark reimagining of Snow White, steeped in poison, intrigue, and treason of the most magical kind. Don't love Snow White retellings, but if anybody's gonna make me love it, it's gonna be T. Kingfisher. There are 10 more new releases coming out in the summertime. You'll see those in my future videos, but those are the priority ones for me and from some of my favorite authors of all time, so it made sense. And then 2 books for book club, one that I'm 30% into right now, and we will be discussing this Sunday, so join us. There's plenty of time to get to it because it's such a quick read. Is Hot Hex Boyfriend by Carly Bloom. It's quirky. It's like reading a Hallmark novel, but it's fun. It's almost like Hocus Pocus, Sabrina, like that vibe, and we're following a main character named Cordelia and her entire family, and they've been hexed, and her family believes that they are witches. She does not buy into that, but they kind of practice, and we know that she really is a witch. She just hasn't embraced her power yet. And her next door neighbor dies, and his nephew comes to help sell the house, but he was not close to his uncle at all, but he's got another agenda, and he's instantly attracted to Cordelia, and we see him kind of battle with that. There's a lot of side hexes happening within the community, like the community dynamics are really funny and interesting, so I just think it's fun. I'm just having a fun time with it. I can't wait to discuss it with everybody to see what they thought, but it's quirky and it's cute, and I think it's one that kind of fell under the radar because there are a lot of these witchy contemporary romances. I honestly picked this one because there's a frog on the cover, and Laura's terrified of frogs, one of the members of the book club, and I was just being mean, but it's cute, it's fun, and I'm having a good time. There's also a cat familiar, so that's how you win me over. Then the book for July is House of Blight by Maxim M. Martineau, and honestly I've seen this cover around quite a bit. I actually have an ALC from Libro Friends, so that worked out nicely. I haven't heard many people talk about how they actually felt about the book though, so if you've read this already, because it did come out in April, let me know your thoughts. And it says it's an eerie, darkly creative, and romantic new gothic fantasy. Lots of gothic vibes, which doesn't really scream summer, but I'll never get tired of gothic vibes. And that says that our main character is a thread mender. She holds a rare life-saving power that can cure disease and heal injuries in the blink of an eye. But magic always comes with a cost, and saving anyone sacrifices a sliver of her own life. That's an interesting take on magic, actually. She's always kept her abilities hidden until the powerful Fernglow family discovers her secret, and it goes on from there. It's under 400 pages, so not a long one. And the reviews do seem to be pretty good on this one. So let me know if you have read that and if you're going to join us for the book club discussion in July on that one. But those are all the books that I know that I want to get to. Of course, as I said before, I'm going to read other things. That's just the way that I am. But those are priority reads for me. Let me know if you read any of them, your thoughts on them, and what's one book that you really want to get to this summer. I would love to hear from you, and I will talk to y'all soon. Bye for now.